All right, everybody, back at this production, and we're back. This time, we're going to talk about something that's not writing or film. We're actually going to talk about fighting. Okay, so let's start in the beginning, and I made my so around a month ago, I made my boxing pro debut. I'm going to start from the beginning. So, as some of you may know, I am a professional MMA fighter, and I did but that looks ridiculous. So I'm a professional MMA fighter, and it was the week of my birthday, and I really need some money. So I'm like, let me take a fight. So I go to my coaches at my gym and I tell them that I want to take a fight, kickboxing fight. I didn't want to do an MMA fight because there's more in the line, and I want to do something real quick. It was around January, the second week of January, and I needed some money, so I want to take a kickboxing fight, a Muay Thai fight, anything like that, like in that aspect. But my coach told me that one of my coaches told me that they're for March, and I need the money like in February. So maybe I want to do like a 3 week camp, 4 week camp, something like that, and then just find get some money. I don't even care about win or lose. But they didn't have anything that was soon, so I'm like, I was kind of upset, and I saw that the boxers were sparring, so I go up to the boxing coach. I said, "Oh, let me go spar with you guys," and then he said, "Okay." So here's some footage of me sparring that day, and I think I did okay, for not really being a boxer. I actually don't even spar, like just box. Like I spar with Muay Thai fighters, MMA fighters, but not really boxers. It's a whole different sport. So I'm sparring with them, and then afterwards, the boxing coach tells me that he overheard me talking to my other coach about a fight, and he said that that they're looking for a guy 122 pounds. In MMA, I fight 125 pounds. So I said, "Oh, I'm down," and then he kind of looked at me surprised. He's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, give me the fight." In fact, let me go talk to my coach real quick, get this certified. Let me go ask. So I go ask my coach. He says, let's do it. And then I go to the boxing coach. I'm like, oh, I'm down. And then that was it. The fight was in, so this is January 15th. The fight was in February 8th. So that gives me around 3 weeks total to train. And I haven't been training, mind you. It's like the second week. This is my birthday week. So I plan on celebrating this weekend. But all that goes out the window because now I have a fight. So basically the next day we start fight camp, right? Because we have 3 weeks of sport I've never done, even in competition. And the guy that I'm fighting, mind you, my coach is saying that he's not the best fighter, but still he has like a lot of amateur fights compared to me, which zero boxing amateur fights. I do have 6 MMA amateurs and 2 Muay Thai amateurs. So I'm thinking, why not? And I'm a fighter at the end of the day, so I know how to fight. When the going gets tough, I get tough. So I start training, and here's some footage of me training on a Saturday, which I don't really do in the morning and Friday as well. I usually at work, but I didn't go to work that day, and I start training literally every day. And and then kind of reality hits me a little bit on Saturday. I go spar another dude from another gym, and this dude whoops me on my birthday. Saturday was my birthday, and basically for my birthday present, I got my ass whooped. Essentially, what happened. I don't have no footage, but he beat my ass. And then we trained. I'm tired. Like my hands are hurting. Something I didn't realize in boxing that you just like I understand the concept of just using your hands, but you don't really understand the how my hands were hurt, like the actual pain my hands were going through. Because that day that I was sparring on Wednesday, I was sparring my brother. I hit his head and I hurt my hand just like a little bit, but the pain kept getting worse as I kept training just my hands. Usually, in MMA, I could kick or I could wrestle. I have all alternatives from using my hands, but this time I have no choice. And I was hitting everything as hard as I could, literally every day. So that's something I didn't anticipate before starting this fight camp. And so I keep training with this coach for like a week, and then he tells me that there's an event at our gym, for like charity and stuff that he wants me to spar that guy that I was training with that Saturday that beat my butt. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'm down. So I'm gonna do that. He's a little flyer. And mind you, that's a week before my fight. So I'm literally gonna compete twice. That's like a little sparring session, but it's still hard. Sparring is hard, especially in boxing. So I go another week training, and my hand's still hurting me. It's still bothering me this whole time. And then the next week, when I train I go on Saturday to go spar him again. And this time, I think I do very well against him. My confidence goes up a little bit. So things are going pretty good. And then the following week, I get sick, and I don't know what it is. Everyone started getting the flu, and I get sick, and I don't feel so good. So I don't even go train Wednesday. I don't go train Thursday. I do go Friday, and then on Saturday, I do the event, and here's some footage of that event. And basically, I get gassed out the fourth round. So it's my fight. My pro fight is 4 3-minute rounds, right? And that's exactly what we did on the event to kind of get me ready. And I gassed completely out because I'm sick. And here's some footage of that. You can see I'm just exhausted, tired, getting beat up by this dude again. Right? He beat me up the first time. I beat him up. I touch him up the second week, and then the third week in the event, a bunch of people watching, like from my gym, I get beat up again, which is the fourth round. I did good the first two. The next two were a little tough. So now I'm thinking, hopefully I don't feel sick, this next week of the fight, because now this next week coming up is my fight, and so I'm kind of, in my head a little bit thinking, I don't want to lose, but because I don't want to lose because I'm sick. I don't want to lose because of my flu. I think I have the flu or whatever, COVID, whatever it is. So that's kind of in the back of my head, and I take a couple more days off, literally the week of my fight. And mind you, at this time, I'm also doing my medicals, which is awful. If anyone as a fighter knows how to do medicals, it's horrible. It's just waste. It's a whole day gone, and then I'm dealing with tickets. Because in boxing, you got to sell tickets, and then some more behind the scenes is that since I'm not really known in this promotion, I'm called the B side. And in the B side, essentially, they want you to lose. Yeah, if it goes to decision, most likely you're gonna lose. And I didn't know that was like in MMA. It's not like that. You go in there, you fight, judges pick whoever the judges pick, and you win. But there's no favoritism in boxing. There is. If you sell the A side, usually sells more tickets, and the B side sells less since they're not really well known in this area, and there's just more you know, uh, I don't want to say rigged, but it kind of is. The sport of boxing is rigged. And I found out firsthand. So my coach literally told me the second day once I signed this fight that I'm the B side and they want me to lose. And if I don't knock him out, essentially I'm gonna lose a decision. So in my head, I already have some, more. I'm not worried, but I do have this feeling that I got to go in there and beat him up. And for me to do that, I got to be in shape and I only have 3 weeks to train. And if anyone's training for a fight, 3 weeks is not enough. So that's already kind of my head. And on top of that, I missed some days because I'm sick now. So let's fast forward to fight night. No, let's fast forward to weigh-ins. So I had to cut to 122. And I'm like, I started the fight camp in 3 weeks, 137, 138. And then by the week of the fight, because I got sick, so I was like 135. And then the day before my weigh-ins, I had to cut the weight, right? I was 132. And then, but I was lying to my coach. I was telling him I'm 130, so it's only 8 pounds, which I cut before easy. And now water loading means I'm just drinking a bunch of water. So when I start cutting the weight in the sauna, it just comes off easier, right? So I go to the gym, and it's 24 hours, and they have a sauna, right? So I'm thinking I've done this before. I cut weight to 125 easy, another 3 pounds. What of it? So I'm there, and I'm 130. I'm 132 at this point, and I go to the sauna for like an hour straight. I'm thinking, oh, once the hour passes, I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be easy. I'm gonna be 125 maybe. Just lose 1 more pound, another 30 minutes in the sauna, go home, fall asleep, lose another pound. While I'm sleeping, wake up on weight, easy peasy, right? So I take off all my clothes. I'm in my undies, and I step on the scale, 130. I still got an hour, 2 pounds an hour. I'm thinking, oh no, what I get myself into. I don't know why the water's not coming off. I don't know why I'm not cutting weight. I don't know why. Usually the water comes off fast. Like I lose like 7, 8 pounds easy. It's just not happening. And I think I'm attributing that to probably me being sick, me not being able to eat the right things, me not eating at all. And there's nothing for me to, for my body to take away from because I'm dehydrated, whatever reason it may be. So mind you, so at this point, I'm like kind of scared. I'm like, am I gonna make the weight? I'm not, because if you don't make the weight, then they're gonna take some money off, and I need the money. I need as much money as I can get. Yeah, I'm already not sending that much tickets, so I'm getting a flat fee of I think it was 1,500 plus tickets, and if they take anything away, and I gotta pay for like license and stuff like that. So yeah, gotta get as much money as I get. So I'm in the sauna again for like another 30 minutes. I check the scale, pound and a half maybe. So I'm like crying. I'm like in my head, it's gonna be a horrible day. It's like 7 o'clock already. I've been here for like an hour and a half. And then so I'm chilling here. I'm already kind of dying. And then this dude comes in, right? And he's kind of like Filipino, I think, or like, yeah, he's like Filipino. and I'm taking sweat off my body, like sweat's just dripping off, right? So I'm like, okay, this is good news. So I'm taking off, and a little sweat hits his shorts, and he looks at me and he goes, and he starts speaking like in his language to like his dad who's next to me, and I'm like, oh, I apologize, I'm like, so I apologized to him, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean that, like a genuine, sincere apology, but it did come off maybe a little weird because I'm dehydrated, dying. Uh, and then he looks at me and he goes, sweat, man, sweat. I'm like, yeah, like I'm sorry, like I apologize. So I don't think nothing of it. But he's kind of looking at me like with like a death stare. He's kind of angry. I'm thinking whatever. So while I'm leaving and I exit, he kind of gives me like a weird look. But I'm like, if he wants to fight, like I drink some water, we'll throw some hands. And he's bigger than me. He's like buff. We're at like a normal gym. We're not like at my gym. And then so he's probably thinking, I gotta beat this fool up. I ain't gonna fight him, but I throw one too. And then, I have my brothers over there, and then, I won't get in trouble. I'll be like, oh yeah, he hit me. He initiated first. I'm being harassed. This delinquent. He's threatening. I'm a smaller guy, so I think I'll get away with it. And so I'm there, and he's just looking at me, right? Like I'm checking the weight, and I start calling my coach, telling him that I can't lose the weight. I need your help. Yada yada. Can you come bring a sauna suit? My coach's like, all right, I'm down. I'm gonna go. So my coach is coming, and when I turn around, this dude is still looking at me like just straight daggers, right? And then I'm like, if he's gonna do something, just let him do something. And then he just keeps, and he walks away, and I'm like, all right, he's gone, whatever. And I'm still checking my weight. I'm just kind of there, like, oh, it's gonna be a horrible day today. I'm hungry, tired, I'm dehydrated. And I look up, and with just like a glass in the gym, as a sauna, is a glass right here, and he's right there, right in front of him, like a Michael Myers popped up out of nowhere. Like Jason, just Jason Voorhees, just ding, niggas just looking at me, just right in my eyes, and he kind of smiling. And at this point, like I'm like, I was gonna say some crazy stuff, not racist, but I was gonna say some crazy stuff. I was gonna say, I was gonna put my phone out and then put my gym, be like, meet me there this, on Monday, because after the fight, I'm down to fight again. Let's go. But he ended up leaving, yada yada. My coach comes, and then we basically do his like workout routine where you could lose like 6-7 pounds, because at this point, after like another hour being in the sauna, I was 128. So he said this one workout cuts at least 5 pounds, and I could sleep the other pound away. And it's basically you go in the sauna and you stay in there for 15 20 minutes, and then you go run 20 minutes in the treadmill, and then do that for like 45 to an hour. And that's what I did, and it worked. I had to do it one more time. I had to do I had to do 4 sets of those, and I finally got to my 123, or one. It was like 120, yeah, 123, and I fell asleep, and I woke up in a pound less, made weight, and here's some picture of me making weight and a face off with my opponent. And that day wasn't too crazy. It was like a normal weigh-in day. It's still off. I looked really sucked up, but I gained another like I gained 10 pounds like within like 6 hours. So I gained my weight back. I was like 132. And then the next day, fight day comes in, and I don't really. So this is my fourth pro fight. Do I have 3 pro MMA fights? Three, no, 3 finishes. By the way, and this is my fourth pro. But this is overall like amateurs too. It's my, I want to say, 14th fight. So I've been here before, done this, yada yada. So it's not too crazy. Fight day, it's just another day. Especially in the morning, you don't want to get too amped up. If anyone's fight, you don't get too amped up. You don't get too nervous. You kind of want to just feel like a normal day. So I was playing my PS5, having a normal day. I had to get to the venue at 5 o'clock, and I think I was gonna fight like at 8 o'clock. That's what they're telling me, 8 9. So I was already kind of mentally ready. I go to my coach. I was like a 3 4. We drive to, I find Commerce Casino in LA. We get there, and in the back, here's some pictures that my friend took of me. My hands already wrapped, and I just, start getting my pad work, start getting warmed up, yada yada. And then I was time for the fight. All right, so in the back is like the most nerve wracking part of fighting, because when you're a fighter, you train to fight, right? You spar and all that stuff. So fighting is not like new. It's not hard. It's not something that's out of your comfort zone. But what is out of my comfort zone is, beating the back. Like that waiting and the anticipation isn't something I train for. Like I get used to it as I continue fighting, but I still get the nerves, still get the butterflies. So I'm in the back, and I don't want to be there. I'd rather be home. But I'm, shadow boxing. I'm hearing my music, yada yada. And then they call my name. I'm like the eighth fight. I think I was like the eighth fight. I'm not too sure. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this part. I think I'm just gonna talk about round for round, and then put some footage here of how I felt each round, and then break it down as I go. So I walk into the. So first he walked first. Yeah, he walked in first. I was the red corner, so I got to walk in last. And I wasn't really looking at him or anything. That wasn't like um usually I like to look at my opponent as they're walking, but I wasn't really paying attention. There was this dude that he's like a boxing guy, and he's really good. And he was just giving me some advice. Just be calm, cool. And I watched him go into the ring, and then I go up the stairs because you gotta go through this ramp, and they got to put gas, they got to put Vaseline on you. So I go up the ramp and I wait for my music, which was Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine. And I hear it and I take my time. I'll go. Usually I like to run into it, but this time, cool, calm, relax. I go in there. They put, grease. I say goodbye to my corner, which is my coach, Adam. And then my boxing coach, Freddie, which helped me through this camp. My jiu-jitsu coach, Medina. And I think I had one more guy that Freddie, my boxing coach, he kind of called to just to help us. And he was there too. And so I walk into the boxing ring with my shirt on, which is weird because usually in MMA you walk in and you take everything off and you just ready to go and you're by yourself. This time I wasn't. I was with all my corner, and he had his corner too on both sides. And while they introduced us, they were all in the ring, which is very different than how it's done. I mean, MMA, once you're in that cage, you're by yourself, and it's really just you and the guy. And you really can't see nobody because there's a cage and it gets really dark and you can't see no audience. And the boxing, I saw everybody, and I was immediately looking for my friends and my family. Looking for my dad and my friends, but I couldn't find. I found my friends, but I couldn't find my dad. But I could hear him though. And we get introduced, and they take off my shirt and you walk in the middle, and the referee tells you the rules, yada yada. So I'm there, and now I'm looking at my opponent, and then the fight's about to begin. And fine, this is what I know. This is what I know how to do, and I know how to fight. Fighting is easy, and I do it every day. And that's not easy, but it's like you could go autopilot fighting. You could. I've been here before many times, so I'm not as nervous as I was. My heart kind of relaxed now. In the back, my heart's really going, bah, 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 like I'm super nervous. Like sometimes you be wishing the worst things. Like, oh, let him get sick or something because I don't got to fight, and it's not my fault. You don't want to pull out, right? So the first round started, and I remember that we saw some footage of him, but I don't really like looking at the at the footage. I kind of just to feel him out. I'm really slow starter, so I was expecting to if anything kind of find his rhythm in this round, and 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 kind of pick it up as the rounds went on, and then I thought in my head that I had a really nice right hand because I've heard people with my left hand, but my coach wanted me to go right hand and orthodox for this fight because it really is strong. My defense lacks a little bit in southpaw. So we were mainly focused on that strategy, and that if we were to hit him, he would be scared. So that was kind of the idea. So I go there. I mean, sorry, but so I'm in the ring and he's kind of throwing a lot of punches. They don't feel real heavy, so I'm kind of anticipating him going a little harder. But immediately I find my right hand. I throw it and it lands immediately. He keeps dipping to his right, so I'm like, and he's southpaw too. So I was like, okay, so already kind of start feeling, but I just keep a high guard and he's punching me. You can start seeing that I start landing these right hands, and I don't have his timing yet because he's very jittery. But what luckily does happen that he starts not lucky, but he finds his timing. He's just throwing a lot on me. Like he starts overstimulating with punches essentially, and I'm kind of overwhelmed a little bit. But he's not hurting me, so I'm kind of keeping my hands up. And I started trying to time my right hand, and then so I go southpaw, and then I immediately switch to orthodox again, and I throw a 1-2, but kind of like a downward hook, and he kind of turns into it with his chin just a little bit, and I drop him. And that was the first round. So that gave me a really confidence booster, right? So I drop him. I thought I was gonna finish him. So as soon as the referee goes back, so when he's counting them, I look at my corner. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, do I finish him? Or do I risk getting tired? Because I'm not in the best shape, so I don't know what to do. But I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna go finish him. So I go and I start hitting this boy with everything I got, hard punches, hard rights, everything, and I still don't finish him. So he survives the rest of the round, and then we move on to the second round. So now the second round, my corner is just telling me that like I dropped them. That's I win 2 rounds out of the four. There's 4 rounds, so I win one round, I win the fight essentially because that's 10-8. No matter what, that round's mine. In fact, 2 rounds are mine. I banged 2 rounds already. So the next round, I'm just same idea. People put my wait for me, so put my hands up and then counter with the right hand. Put a little more forward motion. But this one, he comes out at me hard. Like the first round, he was giving me respect. This time, he was not. Especially for getting dropped, I thought he was giving me more respect, but he doesn't. So this round, What I remember is that he was going, and I was still kind of finding my right hand, but nothing of he was. If anything, I think he won that round more than I did. They gave me the round afterwards when I was looking at my the scorecard. But what I was doing a good job is I was just hitting with the harder punches. I would let him punch me. He was throwing more volume, but I was throwing harder and landing cleaner because he would drop his left hand a lot. So I would find my right hand more often than he would find any other because the other punch he was throwing was just at my guard. So he's throwing a lot of punches. I'm finding my rhythm, whatever. But this was in my favorite round. I did time him a little more, and the round ends. So he just touched me up a little more than I wanted. Even my corner was telling me, my one of my coach Adam, he was telling me, look, just because he doesn't hurt you doesn't mean that you should stay in the pocket and let him hit you. Even doesn't hurt you. I'm like, okay, you're right. Let that not happen. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm gonna box him. I can't hurt him, so I'm gonna outbox him real quick. So I'm gonna keep my. I want to show these people in the audience that I could box. I'm not just an MMA fighter. I want to box, so I'm gonna show them the jab. I'm gonna show them my footwork. So that's exactly what I do in round three. Here's some footage. I start landing the jab. I start landing on my right hand, nice, clean, moving my head. I even get some, nice little Canelo head movements. I even do a little emo at the end of the round, which is right here. He misses the right hand. I move out the way. It's just nice, right? I felt real clean, but I didn't feel like I was landing too hard. But what I did feel was I finally found this timing, and I could finally uh, consistently hit him with my power punches. So what happened in the corner between the third and fourth was that my coach Freddie really took over. Then my other coach, and he was just really hyping me up. He was telling me you could finish him, you gotta beat him, you can't let this go to the judges. He was just super hyping me up because I don't know, he just felt hype. Maybe he thought too. I thought it as well. I knew that I finally found his rhythm. I finally found his timing. Let's go beat him up. So the last round, I throw power, like everything. He's coming on to me because he knows he's losing this fight. So he's trying to kill me, right? But I don't care. That's I thrive in this. I thrive in the fire. I thrive in the fire. But fire me. And so he's going hard, but I land a nice little combo right at the beginning of round, three punches. I make him chase me to the ropes, and I hit him with a nice hard left hand, and I start getting anthem like, let's go, let's go. You can see me yelling in the video right here that I'm telling, let's go. I'm throwing power, I'm walking him down, yada yada, body body. I start doing body body head, as you should, and then around 30 seconds left in the round, I hit him with the left to the body, left to the head, and then that drops him, and that was it, and I knocked him out with my left hand, which is weird because I was landing my right hand the whole fight. So I didn't expect to land my left hand as a knockout. But the last like 30 seconds, I threw for sure the most punch I ever thrown in my life at him. Hard punches. And yeah, and that was my boxing debut. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, this is Bad Ideas Production.